Fireflies. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. Today is February 19th, 2023. It's Sunday. I installed 2 new programs to my computer. One is the AI chat, and the other one is where it reads you the text that you highlight. So I thought I would ask about Social Security, and first question I asked was about the total U.S. debt.
As of February 2023, the total U.S. national debt is approximately $29.4 trillion. This figure includes both the debt held by the public, which is about $22.5 trillion, and the debt held by the federal government itself, which is about $6.9 trillion. The national debt has increased significantly in recent years due to various factors, including increased spending on programs like Social Security, Medicare, and defense, as well as the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Alright, so then I asked, are they stealing Social Security money? And this is the response.
There is no evidence to suggest that the U.S. government is stealing Social Security money. Social Security is funded through payroll taxes that are collected from workers and their employers, and the money is held in a trust fund that is used to pay out benefits to retirees, disabled individuals, and survivors of deceased workers. However, the Social Security system is facing some financial challenges due to a variety of factors, including demographic changes such as the aging of the population and longer life expectancies, as well as changes in the labor market and the overall economy. These challenges have led to concerns about the long-term solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund, and there have been debates about how to ensure that the system remains sustainable and can continue to provide benefits to future generations. To address these concerns, some policymakers have proposed changes to the Social Security system, such as raising the retirement age or increasing payroll taxes, while others have proposed alternative approaches, such as creating personal retirement accounts or changing the way benefits are calculated. However, any changes to the Social Security system would require careful consideration and debate to ensure that they are fair and equitable for all Americans.
So the next question I asked was how long until Social Security runs out of money? And this was the response.
The Social Security Trust funds are projected to become depleted in the mid-2030s, according to the Social Security Administration's 2021 Trustees Report. This means that the funds will only be able to pay out about 78% of scheduled benefits at that time, based on current projections. The depletion of the trust funds is due to several factors, including the aging of the population, declining birth rates, and longer life expectancies. These trends have led to a shrinking workforce relative to the number of retirees, which has put pressure on the Social Security system. However, it's important to note that the depletion of the trust funds does not mean that Social Security benefits will disappear entirely. Even if the trust funds become depleted, the program will still be able to pay out some benefits based on ongoing payroll tax revenue. However, the amount of benefits paid out may be reduced, and changes to the program may be necessary to ensure its long-term sustainability.
So the next question I asked was, how much money would be cut?
If the Social Security Trust funds become depleted in the mid-2030s, as currently projected, the program would only be able to pay out about 78% of scheduled benefits at that time, according to the Social Security Administration's 2021 Trustees Report. This means that if no changes are made to the program, Social Security beneficiaries could face a 22% reduction in their benefits starting in 2035 or shortly thereafter. However, it's important to note that this estimate is based on current projections and assumptions about demographic and economic trends, and could be affected by a variety of factors, including changes in the labor market, economic growth, and government policy. To address the long-term financial sustainability of the Social Security program, policymakers have proposed a range of potential solutions, including raising the retirement age, increasing payroll taxes, or reducing benefits for higher income beneficiaries. However, Any changes to the program would require careful consideration and debate to ensure that they are fair and equitable for all Americans.
So then I asked, does this mean I will get 22% less then? And this was the response.
If the Social Security Trust funds become depleted in the mid-2030s, as currently projected, and no changes are made to the program, it's possible that Social Security beneficiaries could face a 22% reduction in their benefits starting in 2035 or shortly thereafter. However, it's important to note that this estimate is based on current projections and assumptions about demographic and economic trends, and could be affected by a variety of factors, including changes in the labor market, economic growth, and government policy. It's also important to note that changes to the Social Security program could be made before the trust funds become depleted in order to address its long-term financial sustainability. Policymakers have proposed a range of potential solutions, including raising the retirement age, increasing payroll taxes, or reducing benefits for higher-income beneficiaries. Overall, it's difficult to say exactly how much your Social Security benefits might be reduced, if at all, until a specific plan for addressing the program's financial challenges is developed and implemented.
Then I asked what % of the population would have to die to keep the current amount of money I have received.
It's not accurate or appropriate to estimate the number or percentage of people who would need to die in order to maintain the current level of Social Security benefits. Social Security is funded by payroll taxes, which are paid by current workers and employers, and the benefits are paid out to current beneficiaries. The number of beneficiaries and the amount of benefits they receive are determined by a complex set of rules and calculations based on their earnings histories and other factors. The financial challenges facing the Social Security program are primarily due to demographic and economic factors, including an aging population, declining birth rates, and longer life expectancies. These trends have put pressure on the program by reducing the number of workers relative to the number of retirees, which has led to a shortfall in funding for the program.
So there's less people working, and we know that. And it goes on.
To address the long-term financial sustainability of the program, policymakers have proposed a range of potential solutions, including raising the retirement age, increasing payroll taxes, or reducing benefits for higher-income beneficiaries. However, any changes to the program would require careful consideration and debate to ensure that they are fair and equitable for all Americans.
So then I asked, what happened to the money I already paid into Social Security?
The money that you and other workers have paid into Social Security over the course of your careers is not held in a personal account for you. Instead, it's used to pay current benefits to current beneficiaries. This is often referred to as a pay-as-you-go system, in which current workers' payroll taxes fund the benefits of current retirees and other beneficiaries. The Social Security Trust funds, which are administered by the federal government, hold the surplus funds from payroll taxes that are not immediately needed to pay benefits. These funds are invested in special-issue Treasury bonds, which earn interest and can be redeemed by the trust funds when they need to pay out more benefits than they are receiving in payroll taxes. The Social Security Trust funds are projected to become depleted in the mid-2030s, as the number of retirees continues to grow and the number of workers paying into the system remains relatively stable. At that point, the program would only be able to pay out about 78% of scheduled benefits, unless changes are made to address the program's financial challenges. However, it's important to note that Social Security benefits are not a personal savings account, but rather a social insurance program designed to provide a safety net for retired and disabled workers and their families.
So my response was, well, at least you're honest about it.
As an AI language model, my goal is to provide accurate and helpful information to the best of my ability based on the data and knowledge available to me. I strive to provide unbiased and factual responses to your questions, and I'm glad to hear that you find my responses helpful. Please let me know if there is anything else you'd like me to help you with.
So I said, so I guess I should plan on less money by 2035, or sooner, right?
Based on current projections, it's possible that Social Security benefits could be reduced by around 22% by 2035 if no changes are made to address the program's financial challenges. However, it's important to note that this is just a projection, and it's possible that changes could be made to the program before that time to address the shortfall. If you're concerned about how the projected shortfall could affect your retirement plans, you may want to consider working with a financial planner or advisor to develop a retirement plan that takes into account your expected Social Security benefits as well as your other sources of retirement income. They can help you determine how much you may need to save to supplement your Social Security benefits and help you make informed decisions about your retirement planning.
So I told him I have no savings to do that. Yeah, I've always worked from paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, barely making ends meet, and this was the response.
I understand that not everyone is able to save for retirement, and it can be difficult to plan for retirement when you have limited financial resources. In that case, it's important to explore other sources of retirement income that may be available to you. For example, you may be eligible for other government benefits, such as Supplemental Security Income, SSI, which is a needs-based program that provides cash assistance to elderly or disabled people with limited income and resources. You may also be eligible for Medicaid, which can help cover your medical expenses. Additionally, you may want to consider working longer or pursuing part-time work during retirement to supplement your income. Even if you're only able to work part-time or in a lower-paying job, any additional income can help you stretch your retirement savings and Social Security benefits further. It's also important to explore programs and resources in your community that may be able to provide assistance with housing, food, and other basic needs, which can help reduce your overall expenses and allow you to stretch your retirement income further.
So then I asked him, or made a comment, so in 10 years we might be in bad shape.
For example, Congress could choose to raise the payroll tax rate, increase the earnings cap on the payroll tax, or adjust the retirement age or benefit formula. However, these changes may be politically difficult to implement. It's important to monitor news and updates about the Social Security program and plan accordingly based on your individual circumstances. If you have concerns or questions about your Social Security benefits or retirement planning in general, you may want to consider speaking with a financial planner or advisor who can provide personalized guidance based on your specific situation.
So then I asked, what do you mean increase the earning cap on payroll tax?
Currently, there is a cap on the amount of income subject to Social Security taxes. In 2022, the cap is $147,000. This means that earnings above this amount are not subject to Social Security payroll taxes. One possible solution to address the Social Security funding shortfall is to increase the earnings cap on the payroll tax, which would require individuals with higher incomes to contribute more to the Social Security system. For example, if the earnings cap were raised to $250,000, individuals earning more than that amount would pay Social Security taxes on their additional earnings. Raising the earnings cap would increase the revenue flowing into the Social Security system, which could help to extend the solvency of the program. However, this change would also affect high earners who would see an increase in their payroll taxes. It's worth noting that any changes to the Social Security program would need to be approved by Congress and signed into law by the President.
So my next comment was, so the rich don't pay as much to Social Security? Why is that?
The Social Security payroll tax is designed as a progressive tax, which means that individuals with higher incomes pay a larger proportion of their income in Social Security taxes. However, there is currently a cap on the amount of income subject to the payroll tax, which means that individuals with higher incomes stop paying Social Security taxes on their earnings above the cap. The reason for the earnings cap is to help ensure that the Social Security program is a self-funded insurance program, rather than a welfare program. The idea is that individuals pay into the system throughout their working lives and then receive benefits in retirement based on their contributions. The earnings cap is intended to limit the amount of taxes that high earners pay into the system, so that their benefits are more closely linked to the amount they have contributed. However, some argue that the earnings cap should be raised or eliminated in order to increase revenue to the Social Security program and ensure its long-term solvency. Others argue that the earnings cap is an important feature of the program and that it helps to maintain the program's integrity as an insurance program. Ultimately, any changes to the earnings cap or other features of the Social Security program would need to be made by Congress and would likely involve a complex set of trade-offs and considerations.
I then asked, do you think that Congress will raise the Social Security cap?
It's difficult to predict what Congress will do in the future, but the issue of Social Security solvency is one that has been discussed and debated for many years. Raising the earnings cap on the payroll tax is one potential solution that has been proposed by some policymakers and experts as a way to increase revenue to the Social Security program and extend its solvency. However, raising the earnings cap is a controversial issue, and any proposed changes to the Social Security program would need to be carefully considered and debated by lawmakers. Additionally, any changes to the program would likely involve trade-offs between different goals, such as ensuring the program's long-term solvency, protecting low-income and vulnerable populations, and minimizing the impact on high earners and the broader economy. Ultimately, the future of the Social Security program and the potential for changes to the earnings cap will depend on a variety of political, economic, and social factors.
So what are your thoughts, you guys? Put your comments down below. Yeah, social, economic, and social factors. Social factors would be the wealthy not wanting to pay in more. Because, they got the money where they can invest it in different things. Property, crops, land, businesses, things like that. And, they figure what they put in, they'll never get back. So they are basically feeding the poor. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to supplement the income, even though their policy keeps us poor. Yeah, they just want to continue that. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, keep prepping as you can, a little bit at a time. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.